Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to make sure you know all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on all new episodes of Wade's World, Boob Windows and Long Boxes, our Hard R movie reviews, and so much more, all completely uncensored. Access starts for as little as $1 a month, full videos when you pledge $3 a month. Check us out at the link in all of our show notes, or just go straight to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Parrott, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks Podcast.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights,
No evil shall escape my sight.
but those who worship evil's might.
beware my power.
Green Lantern's light. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Sector 2814, the Green Lantern Podcast, episode 20. So we're about Emerald Twilight. I'm sorry. Anyway, I am Phil. Joining me as always, Master of the Core. It is.
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
And Master of the Green. Just wanted the well, it is.
This is Matt. Here I am.
And why do I bring up the Goodwill? Well, no, not him. No, the store.
He's a great Will. I went to the Goodwill store. Hunting through the DVD bins at the Goodwill store today.
That's right. Because yes, you started that conversation. I'm like, I want this on the record because what movie were you not willing to spend $3?
Well, I love looking at the DVDs because a lot of people don't like physical media anymore. I still dig it, and so I wanted to see if I could get anything for cheap or something that's like hard to find. And I actually got a copy of Dogma on DVD, which is kind of been out of print for a little while. Shot in Pittsburgh, that's why I mentioned that. And I passed by a number of superhero ones, but one in particular, as it relates to the podcast, is the Ryan Reynolds film Green Lantern. $3.49, just a little bit too much for me.
And I had opined that the cast really was great on that movie.
Yeah,
it just was. You had
the writing.
Sinestro was perfect. It just was awesome. And Ryan Reynolds, I think, made a good Hal. It's just the writing and I don't know anything, but I kind of I don't know anything. I never know anything. I kind of feel like that's on Jeff Johns. As much as I love what he did for Green Lantern with Rebirth on, and Blackest Night and all that stuff. That movie seems like it was interfered with. I don't have any take one way or the other, but it just
I could see it just for what we got final product and the era it came out. Yeah, I could see a lot of suits interfering there. And again, they fall into the trap. It's like, oh, well, we can't just have one villain. They had to do Hector Hammond, then they had to jump right to Parallax. It's like, no. At the beginning of Hal.
Yeah.
And it's like all these seasoned veteran Green Lanterns couldn't take out Parallax. So yeah, no one else thought that do what Hal did at the end. It's like, okay.
Okay, yeah. And Kilowog, looked awesome, sounded awesome. That was, I think, Michael Clark Duncan, right?
Perfect casting. It's kind of cool.
You had Tomar Ray. All of the. I did not necessarily like the animated suits, but I could have overlooked that if the story would have been there. But there was just, and I don't think that they were trying. It's not like, hey, we're going to take a risk and shoot for the fence. I think it failed because they were trying to play it way too safe.
Oh yeah, Hot Wheel track. Come on.
Yeah. So very disappointing. I remember taking the boys to that, and we were like, ugh. So wanted it to be good. And it wasn't.
I know. I think I went with my wife. I was just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's always a tough part when you're the one that talks it up or gets hyped up the most, and then you don't want to have to admit that you're wrong because you had it wasn't your fault. You didn't know. Just like, well, I thought that maybe they could have.
Yeah.
Or even like, back in 1997, I went with a bunch of friends to see Batman and Robin, and everyone was like, "Oh, that movie was okay." I'm like, "No, it wasn't. Let me tell you why it wasn't."
Yeah.
Bat nipples, come on.
Yeah.
Clooney.
Well, one thing the Green Lantern movie did give us was the Green Lantern animated series, which is very good.
Oh yeah,
It's true.
I hear the music to that is pretty great.
Yeah,
Silver
it
lining.
is. Soundtracks are pretty awesome. Volumes 1 and 2, very good.
So hopefully, hopefully HBO Max gets it right. That Green Lantern, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. I mean, because there's lots of ways you can do Green Lantern and still have it be, awesome.
And we got a I don't know if it's a full trailer or a teaser for Stargirl season 2 this week, and yes, Jade, this daughter of Alan Scott, was in there. So
with a lantern, it looked like on that picture.
Oh yeah, Stargirl has like a bunch of the old stuff from the JSA, so they showed in the first season. So I'm guessing she doesn't have the internalized powers. I'm guessing what is she probably going to use ring or whatever.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. And I think that debuts in September.
I think it's August, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I just wonder, they might have even pushed it back because last year it was during the summer. It might have been June or July, but I think because all those CW shows are delayed because they didn't start till like February. They could start September, October. But yeah, they said next season on The Flash, like the first 5 episodes, are going to do a bunch of like team ups. Like they said, they already talking to the guy from Black Lightning. So,
oh, cool, very cool.
So Well,
we're watching Crisis right now. We're 2 episodes in.
I watched the whole thing. I rewatched the whole thing again this weekend. Yes, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of Batwoman at this point. I think it's
the show. Yeah,
I don't know if it's the show or. I mean, I like some of the actors in it, but Batwoman is just not that convincing to me. So, I mean, the new Batwoman, I'll have to give that a shot. See how.
Okay. I was gonna say, yeah, you're in season 1 of Batwoman. Yeah, that was so weird. Well, again, too, I don't think they did that any service where it's like, they threw a crossover in the middle of her first season and
Yeah.
Here, I was just looking up when season 2 of Stargirl starts. I'm pretty sure it's on. I saw August.
And we've got. Let's see. Yeah, because we're having to do Crisis before we do the next season of Legends.
No,
which is Legends is kind of strange.
Oh, it gets trippy the further you go. Yeah. So you're not done with Crisis yet?
No, not yet. We just got we watched the Supergirl episode and the Batwoman. So we still got
wait till you get
Green Arrow, Flash, and Legends, which is the last part.
Yeah, Flash is part 3. Oh, wait till you get to that. It's so great. Oh. Yeah, August 10th for Stargirl season 2.
Awesome.
Okay. I know. We it's the DC characters and stuff. But did you guys watch the first episode of Loki yet?
I did.
Yes.
I was on top of it this time.
Nice. Yeah.
I was constantly in the weeds with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I made time to watch Loki.
Oh, nice.
At least you didn't vary, right?
No. It's funny because I always try to stay spoiler free for stuff that I know that I'm going to be watching anyway. But someone sent me a link because like the Disney store was having their twice annual sale. So I was just looking through stuff to maybe get my daughter or my wife. And there was like all these Time Variant Authority t-shirts and things like that. So I was like, oh, okay, something's going on. And I knew Loki was traveling through time. Didn't know he was going to get nabbed right away. But there you go.
I did read that Owen Wilson's mustache was deep nerdery as a tribute to Mark Grunwald.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because didn't they base the original look of all those TVA agents on Grunwald? Yes.
Yeah, Simonson, Walter Simonson did, and I think they quote him in the article too that I read. So yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yep, I did too. I really like that aspect of it.
But I mean, are they just teasing us? Because I mean, just between the timekeepers who weren't they behind Mortis in the comics?
And you kind of one of them. This was pointed out to me. I did not notice it. I love the little cartoon introducing it. That was really awesome. But apparently, in the cartoon, one of the timekeepers looks like Kang.
Yeah,
maybe. But and we know Kang.
But remember, everyone knew that the Mephisto was going to be in WandaVision too. Will, so
yeah,
right.
Well, that's true. And Kang is interesting because it goes Ramatut, Kang, then Immortus. That's the same guy, right? And wasn't there it wasn't like an alternate version of him? It was from the Squadron Supremes. He was the Scarlet
Centurion. Was it Scarlet?
I think Scarlet Centurion. Yeah, I think so.
And then like the first Young Avengers story, there was like a young Kang kid, was like Iron Lad. And he's like, "Oh, I'm never gonna become a villain." But then he's like, "They're like, you got
he totally becomes a villain."
But yeah, I mean, and then what's that? What was that little mascot thing? Was it Miss Minutes or something?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to put a clock face on Kona. Matt Minutes.
I could. Yeah. I'm often minutes late to the stream, so it works out.
It was a 30-minute episode, right? And there was no.
I think it was a little bit longer, right? I think it was like around 40.
Yeah, I think it was a 45 or a little more. Yeah.
Are they gonna kind of clock in about? Pardon the pun.
I mean, that's about what Falcon Winter Soldier was, wasn't it? Around like 45 to 50 minutes, I thought.
I think it was, and some were like closer to an hour too. I think so. Yeah, it was like and they structured it a lot differently too because it was like one big 6-hour movie.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think they're kind of leaning more into the episodic. At least it seems that way for Loki. It's like this is an episode. It's a discrete thing. Here's another episode. It's a discrete thing.
Yeah. Oh, did you see the name of the judge who he was in front of, Will?
I did not notice it at the time, but I did read about it later. So yeah, that's cool. I'll let you go ahead and reveal it because I didn't notice it.
Yes,
yeah, I didn't pick it up.
Spoilers for Loki season 1, kids. It was Ravonna, who Kang was all macking on.
Yeah, which is what was the crossover in the Avengers Annual?
When they went to Timely or whatever.
Yeah, she showed up as kind of it's one of those annuals with a card in it. I can't remember what it was. From the Avengers Annual.
That narrows it down.
And yeah, a little bit maybe. But yeah, she was Kang's love, and I think she first showed up in his appearance in what was that, Avengers 7 or 8? Somewhere back in there in the original.
Yeah. Well, that was his. Yeah, wasn't it 8 his first appearance or something?
I think so. 9. It's been a while since I've checked all my Avengers facts, but 9 was Wonder Man's first appearance. So I think 8 was Kang. So maybe.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. And then, spoilers at the end. They're like, oh, you have to hunt down another version of yourself who we don't see, only cloaked figure. So I think the prevailing theory is that's female Loki.
And they also, it was pointed out, I didn't catch it, that the thing that was sticking in the ground, the weapon was from the 3rd millennium. Who do we know that comes from the 30th century besides the Guardians of the Galaxy? Kang.
Is he? I thought he was 40th. Or was he 40th?
I thought he was 30th, but I could be wrong. So we could look that up.
He's all over mine too.
Yeah. And he's been in some really, really, really good Avengers stories during the Stern run.
Okay, I checked. I tried to hide your identity, but I know that's you, Power of Chad. It's one of the raised. It's Earth Loki with the horns. No. I was gonna say, watch, it'll be like Owen, it'll be like a double of Owen Wilson or something.
Yeah.
Luke Wilson.
He's in the DC universe. He's actually on.
Those universes, you can't cross those streams, man. You just can't cross those streams.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What's scarier than the TVA? Disney lawyers.
Trying to think back to some of the, there was Kang and Immortus had kind of a storyline when Stern was writing the Avengers, but then right after Heroes Reborn, the relaunch, Heroes Return, they did the Avengers Forever series. Kurt Busiek and I think Stern helped him out on that, and then Carlos Pacheco was on the art. That was just awesome.
I was thinking
it had Immortus, Kang, Timekeepers. It had the works.
Okay, there's one. I was thinking today I want to make up bingo cards for everyone for like everybody on our podcast. Be like, okay, what so and so says this, and I think for the will card, one of the squares has to be he mentions Avengers Forever
because it's awesome.
Mention Hal Jordan. Mention Avengers Forever.
Cosmos in Collision.
Mention Quasar. So
Green Lantern. Yeah.
Yes. Let's get into a different galaxy.
All right. So yes, tonight we're covering a Green Lantern Mosaic 6, 7, and 8. Mm-hmm. All right. So the first one, Green Lantern Mosaic number 6, November 1992. Step Outside. Who is it? Christopher Reeves? Care to step outside, General? Writer Gerard Jones, of course. Penciler, two pencilers, Trevor Scott and Chris Wozniak. 2 inkers, Romeo Tangle, Gary Yap. Colorist Steve Matson. Letters Albert de Guzman. Editors Kevin Dooley and Eddie Berganza.
I'm surprised that Yap didn't write the script of the dialogue. Yapping.
I was reading one of the upcoming Mosaics, not one of these, and it was really wordy, and I was like, man, modern comics never does this anymore.
Yeah.
It was almost like a Claremont X-Men.
I know.
Read the letters pages. Oh my God. Talk about wordy.
Well, they had
he does. There's some good stuff in there that we should catch up to after we finish the issues.
Okay.
There's some good discussion to be had, I think.
You're telling me some about that. All right. So issue 6, Kilowog calls in John Stewart to lecture the new recruits for the Green Lantern Corps on the subject of discipline. John suggests that rather than teach the new recruits cooperation and tolerance, he should redirect their violence and anger in such a way that the Corps continues to stand as a unit, despite the fact that the members don't get along. John performs a mind scan on Boudica and Creon, the 2 new lanterns who get along the least. He places them on an alternate plane of reality where he forces them to fight their fears. Boudica fears men and their chains of reason, while Creon fears strong, sexually aggressive women. Given. Both find themselves entrapped by their fears, and John warns that they will die if they cannot defeat their fear. Eventually, they call on each other for help, claiming that they both could easily defeat the other's foe, so they try it. After coming out of it, the 2 realize, as John states, that they depend on each other to fill in the blanks in their lives. Boudica even flirts with Creon to the extent that they leave the earshot of the rest of the Corps. Okay.
Well, he's from Mars and she's from Venus, right? Is that what they're trying to tell us? I mean, the Mars sector and the Venus sector.
Ducona. But Kilowog.
I love how they're not stereotyping there at all.
Exactly. Kilowog thanks John for his efforts and prepares to present the new recruits to the Guardians of the Universe, and John decides to go back to work on the Mosaic. All right. Matt Kona, thoughts on sexually aggressive women?
Well, in comic books, very...
is
I like to watch. No.
So, I mean, it seems like a lot of these issues, I mean, especially like the upcoming ones too, it's like we're really like either looking in the John's head or someone else's head in a lot of these.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's that, like
Yeah.
Jones is like, or no, yeah, Gerard Jones. Yeah, he's doing like real deep dives on like people's psyches and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was interesting that John was just so blasé. Oh, if they can't beat their fears, they're just going to die. You know, and kill them. I was like, whoa, that's not cool, bro.
Yeah.
I know, and
But it worked.
Is it just like as the old timers kind of still in his head somewhat, or Sinestro is in there, or what we get at the end of this series? Well, was that, I mean, it's a nice little stew of it's like, why is John Stewart like locked away from the feeling? And I mean, just I don't know. I want a drug test on John Stewart. I mean, remember, for issue 1 of Green Lantern until now, I mean, really put on some muscle tone,
He's bulked up a bit. Yes, that's true. But Mosaic is not like any other book, at least in my opinion, that DC was putting out at the time.
No,
It looked different. It read different. It really was different. Now, what the writer was doing, I don't know if he was 100% successful or not, but it was different. It was really different.
So this is probably your first time reading this, right, Matt?
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah, what you think?
I don't know. I mean, I gotta kind of reacclimate myself to this world. I like the concept of it, and it's a long story to tell. So obviously, there's going to be little side roads along the way. So I think this issue in particular is one of them, and you see him and his leadership skills going in a creative way to get these two people to work together and work against their own inner demons and fears. So I thought it was cool. I don't know. It rates higher amongst the issues that we're going to discuss today than the others. We'll get to that, but so far so good.
I remember the illusionary antagonist here, kids. Mama Dentata and the Chainmen.
Do you guys? I mean, I find it interesting. I don't know if anybody else does because I'm not right, but it kind of continues the theme of characters talking directly to us, the reader, right? I mean, that's happened in the past, issues before. Now it happens in this issue.
Breaking the fourth panel.
Yeah.
What is it?
I know what space-time looks like.
At this point in time, what is it with green characters breaking the fourth wall? Because didn't Byrne have She-Hulk like breaking the fourth wall at this point?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're a green character, you could like break the fourth. Now it's all like Deadpool and.
Yeah, you have to be a red character. I don't know.
And I feel like they want to do that with Harley Quinn sometimes, but I don't think she like breaks the fourth wall I don't know if she ever did, but it's like they kind of almost wanted her to. But yeah, she does. They never took her full Deadpool.
Yeah.
But it always seemed to me like they wanted to make Harley Quinn kind of like their Deadpool.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny, the success of both of those characters is just crazy at this point. I mean,
oh yeah, can you believe Deadpool? This is the 30th anniversary this year.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. I mean, New Mutants.
It's like, I mean, if you're X-Force, I mean, you really didn't hear about Deadpool those first couple of years too. I think that's why it sneaks up on you too, because it's like, because he didn't get his own series until, what was it, 1997 or 98? So
Yeah, and the first series he had was a limited series. I think Mark Wade wrote it, and Joe Mattiero did the art, maybe.
That was the second. Yeah, he had two miniseries. Yeah, that was the second one. Yeah, and then then they gave him an ongoing.
And then Joe Kelly took did he start the ongoing or did he take over the ongoing? Because he did some really cool stuff with Deadpool.
Yeah, no, Joe Kelly started it. Yeah. He was on there for like 20, 30 some issues. Yeah. And of course, kids, with a character like Deadpool can you get the moment in 25 when Captain America has been possessed by an alien. So Deadpool tells you, "I'll Rochambeau you for it." And where else in comics will you see Captain America get kicked in the nuts?
Only in Deadpool.
So, any other thoughts on this one? Was there anything in this? I know you're talking about the letter column. Well, was there anything in this letter?
One of these letter columns. Well, actually, the letter columns are all really interesting. In this one, I think he maybe talks about some of the less than flattering mail he's getting about bumping off Chip.
Oh yeah, that is in this one. He's got it now because he's talking like the Jason Todd thing. He's like, if he had a 900 number to like kill off the
the rider,
this would be the last thing I'd write.
And I don't know if it was this one or the next one. He talks a little bit about the Eclipso annual, the Green Lantern annual with Eclipso in it, because I know we've talked about that and how it was a little cringeworthy in places.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, I'm looking at this letter column now. Yeah, people are yelling at him for killing off Chip. But it's like, but I think someone was complaining. I spent $1.25 of my hard-earned money on this thing, and it's like, oh, damn,
dude, don't go to the future. Stay where you are.
I know. Oh, I miss those days. Oh my God, I miss the days of $1.
Oh man. I'll take $1.50. I mean, if you think about how long it takes an issue, or how long it would take to read an issue back then compared to now, and the cover charge for present day comics. Oh man, it's like 5 pages of an old issue.
I know. Yeah, I mean, again, it's like, well, I always pick on Bendis, but it's like, you can get an issue of people just like standing around talking. Yeah, and in a 90s comic, that might be like 2 pages of the comic,
On to the action. Well, I'll show my age here. I learned about economics the hard way. I could get 4 comics for $1.20. They were 30 cents each. I remember going to the stands when I was really, really young.
Wow.
And then they bumped them up to 40 cents, and suddenly the 4 comics turned into 3 comics. I was like, wait a minute. What's going on here?
All right. And for me, it was, I'm not that old, but I started collecting when it was like 7. It was like on the cusp of like going from like 75 cents to $1, but that's before they taxed them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if they hit $1, it's like, hey, I won 4 comics. I just need $4. Nice and easy. Then they started taxing the damn thing.
Yeah.
But kids, you could go I mean, we had like 2 or 3 newsstands around here. We had, they were on spinner racks in the grocery store.
Oh yeah, that's exactly right.
I got to hunt down a comic book store.
Spinner racks in the drugstores. Yeah.
As all the young kids are yelling, or just buy them digitally.
Get off my lawn.
All right, should we move along to the next one?
Yes.
Conan's like, yeah.
Move along home.
All right, we'll find the link. Yeah, here, next one. Green Lantern, Mosaic number 7, December 1992. Ghost Dance. Same writer. Penciler, Cully Hamner. Inker, Dan Panosian. Steve Matson, colorist. Yeah, same. Letterer, editor. A Native American reserve on the Mosaic becomes consumed by a need to drum and dance. The activities draw the attention of Frankie and Kelly, who watch with interest for 3 days. Eventually, the music is interrupted by the creatures known as the clergy birds, a meditative philosophical species. The rhythms of the drums disrupt their meditation and has the strange side effect that the species known as glad girls are killing the clergy birds. That's right, kids.
Clergy birds.
Get whatever mind-altering substance you like, kids. You might.
Here we go.
When the birds ask the natives to stop, they are threatened with guns, and Frankie and Kelly are forced to use their Green Lantern rings to intervene. They call John Stewart, who angrily warns them not to argue religion on his Mosaic. He grabs representatives from both parties and takes them to see the glad girls. When he arrives, he catches the girls in the act of killing one of the clergy birds, but when he tries to catch them, they are gone. When John encounters strange creatures he calls twittering machines, twittering machines. He realizes that the source of the call for music is something other than the native reserve. The twittering machines. Yeah, I hear they won't talk to the former president. He finds himself unable to control the urge to dance and sing. Fortunately, he is rescued by one of the clergy birds who have trained their minds to ignore rhythm. The source seems to be a field of reeds. Clergy bird trained their mind to ignore rhythm. What are they, white people?
At a wedding. No.
Oh, electric slide. Yeah. That night, John calls on the spirit of the old timer, who remains embedded in the Green Lantern psyche. He begs the spirit to tell him about the music, but the old timer mocks him and fills his mind with all the knowledge of a former guardian. Knowledge of a guardian, you say? John is overwhelmed, but tries to focus on pulling just one thing from the many. The next morning, John calls on Frankie and his friends to watch his back. And Frankie says, "Hey, relax." That's an old joke. He returns to the reed field. He assumes that there is some sentience that is creating the music. He enters the field and begins to sing. By letting the music into his mind, John encounters a race of beings made of sound that he calls the Tone Men. He dubs their home Melody Land. John begins a conversation with the Tone Men through lyrics and song, which conveys the negative effects of the music. The Tone Men stop urging the natives to drum, and the glad girls stop killing the clergy birds, and everyone is in harmony again on the Mosaic. Yay, happy ending.
Ish, except for the one that,
Well, happy ending for the Mosaic.
Yeah.
All right, kids, what did you think?
Oh, well, basically, I like the artwork. I thought the cover was really cool, and the opening splash page is disturbing to have a little girl with a impaled chicken clergy bird, whatever, Howard the Duck kind of ripoff, and being murdered. I thought that, you made I didn't want to tip my joke in advance, but you were talking about drug testing John Stewart. I think you might have to test him for LSD in this one, because it just seems like he's, it's a for him dancing and singing all the songs in his head. It's sort of like, what do you call it when you get the when you get a song stuck in your head and it's driving you insane. It seems like this, but a lot more visually stimulating, with some semblance of a plot, peacekeeping plot spread throughout. But yeah, like the art. It was some real weird, kind of funny stuff, especially with Streisand, of course, makes its way in there. I know some lyrics, and I don't celebrate her whole catalog, but you get more into Streisand in the following issue. But yeah, I don't know. It was a weird one, definitely.
So what do you say?
We get to meet new kinds of aliens, really strange rivalries between them. So
So what are you saying, Conan? Are you to sum up this issue? Can we say the rhythm is going to get you? The rhythm is going to get you.
Yeah, the real. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, just go ahead, Will. I had a thought and I lost it. Go ahead.
It's just out there. I mean, it.
Or bird is the word. Bird.
Burgers, the word.
You know, it seemed like it took one of the kids to remind him that, you still need to, discover these things. You still need to go out and try to find things out, and yeah, the rest of it's just kind of Tuesday on the Mosaic, right?
And again, I have no knowledge either way. So both of you guys, I'd like your opinion. Do you think they did the Streisand thing just to make John different, or was like Gerard Jones or one of them like a fan of Streisand and just wanted to throw it in, or what?
I think it gets into his conception of John as
he's multi-layered.
yeah, but I think he's trying to bridge that racial gap by saying that John loves Streisand, which is typically considered white, right? And I don't know if the collection of things that he kind of throws onto John make for a complex character or just make for lots of things thrown on John. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that an example of just, do you think Gerard Jones was trying too hard to just be like, look, he's not the typical black man. He does not listen to the rap music, and
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say when he's writing about race.
yeah, sorry.
I don't know.
I mean, a lot of these issues, it seems like he's trying to talk about the black experience, but this is a white guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it lacks. I feel like it lacks some authenticity.
Yeah, I'm just every time I read something like that, one of these, I'm just like, where are you pulling this from?
Yeah. I mean, is it just something you've read then? And
yeah,
that means
book, or did you talk to people? I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange. It adds to the strangeness of these issues too. I think.
Could they do this today? Could a white writer do this today?
I think it would be.
Or would people just be like, oh, if you're going to do this, why don't you just have a black writer do it?
Well, I think two things. I think as a writer, you should be able to write any character.
Oh,
right?
yeah, definitely.
But also, if you're going to make it a point to address issues about, race or sexism or things like that, then you really are probably writing outside your experience if you're a straight white dude, right? So, if the point of the story is going to be something along those lines, maybe it's not your story to tell. And that's not a hard and fast rule. I mean, we've got great stuff by lots of people, of all kinds of different backgrounds, but.
And it would be different if like he did it like once or twice, but it like as you keep going, a Mosaic seems like he keeps coming back.
He comes back to it, exactly. And I don't know. Since that is really kind of an underlying theme and kind of a driving force behind this, it just doesn't seem like he's the best equipped to tell that story for this character.
I mean, unless he just wanted to be different, since he's writing everything Green Lantern.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. All the Green Lanterns.
Like Europe.
So, I mean, we're looking at from Green Lantern, Emerald Dawn, because he wrote like the last 3 issues of Emerald Dawn and then all of Emerald Dawn 2 or something along those lines, which was in 90?
Wow.
Approximately.
Yeah, something like that.
So for like 4 years, if a Green Lantern appears somewhere, odds are he wrote that story, right?
Yeah, and I wonder if that contributed to the fall of Hal Jordan eventually. Well, I mean, we'll get there, but it's like because you only had one voice writing everything Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now we're up to 3 regular Green Lantern. You know, if you count Guy Gardner, 3 regular Green Lantern books. You know, he's writing Justice Europe. It's like maybe if we went in at least one other voice in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get a little of that in the Core Quarterly, but it's stuff that's really off to the side. That doesn't really impact the anything that impacts the ongoing Green Lantern title is something that he has his hand in, basically.
Because it's with the different books, it's like, oh, everyone can have their cake and eat it too. But it's like, well, yeah, but it all tastes the same because the same guy's writing it.
Yeah, you're serving it you're the one serving it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do kind of think his creative control, whatever one you want to call it, his creative control of Green Lantern probably did ultimately lead to Emerald Twilight. I mean, I really do think that. I don't think we could argue too well that it didn't, because you're right. It was the same person writing these different characters, and then ultimately it all just kind of blew up, right?
I mean, as we'll see, the first story once he's done is boom, Emerald Twilight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think reading some behind the scenes stuff. Wow, this is a long time ago. I think that no matter what, come 50, Hal was going to not be Green Lantern. He was going to be elsewhere, doing something else. Again, kicked out of the Corps. Which how many times are they going to do that story? But whatever. And they decided to, for whatever reason, to nuke the kind of the franchise from orbit. To borrow an Aliens quote. Right?
Just burn it all down. Just be like one guy, one rank. Okay, we'll rebuild from here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other thoughts on 7 before we get to 8?
No, I mean, just I don't know. The question you answered about whether like a white writer can tell like a black story or vice versa.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of. I mean, yeah, there's always going to be people that has an opinion on it right away. But I mean, there's so many instances of comic book creators inheriting characters, and they're not. You can't. It would feel weird to assign them because Luke Cage is black, so we need a black writer, or Captain America is white, so only white people can write it. Like it sounds much worse in the reverse role, but I don't know. I mean, I think that the conversation about race is a lot more prevalent in everything in this day and age, much more so than it was in the 90s. I mean, there was just the character was like that, so you write about it. It's like, I mean, you write a movie that has male and female characters in it. Every movie doesn't have to be co-written by 2 people of either gender. So I don't know. It's a longer, more nuanced conversation, but that's just my surface reaction to it.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to really kind of the point of the story too. I mean, if you're going to have characters addressing things specifically around racism or misogyny or any of those things, then it becomes, I think, more important to have an authentic voice as opposed to just simply utilizing a character and being true to that character, but not necessarily addressing, underlying societal problems and things like that. I mean, I feel like it comes down to the aim of the story, but that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I like that take.
And it's just like, I mean, ever since the Action Comics Weekly, it just seems like they just put poor John through the ringer. First they kill his wife, then they they make him the angry black man. Now he's like 20 voices in his head, and
and to give credit where I think some credit is due, it's, the writer is taking that character and trying to do something with a lot of those things that, have happened to the character. So, there's some good things here. I still feel like there's an authenticity to some of the things that, he has the character say, and, that he puts the character through for various reasons. But that's just me.
Yeah. I think once he returns, when Cal's, it's Cal's book, I think, Jon Stewart's back to greatness, but.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Should we get to the last one?
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right. Green Lantern Mosaic, number 8, January 1993.
Woohoo!
1994 is fast approaching, Will. All right.
It's very quickly approaching.
Looks like the same creative team as the last issue. Low Riders in the Sky.
Right. Yeah.
Before you jump into it, Cully Hamner is still an artist for DC. He's still doing a lot of good work. And Dan Panosian, the inker, is now, I think he was nominated for an Eisner this year for some of his cover work. So we've got some really good creators on the book, really early in their career.
Yeah. These are like the rookie cards for.
All right, I was going to say, I got a big long synopsis here. Jon Stewart has to deal with a conflict between the Trendoids and the humans they have been imitating.
That's it.
Wow.
Yes.
I was settling in to be read a story by Uncle Phil here, and
yeah. I thought it was going to be a complicated, nuanced breakdown of the gang culture and trying to infiltrate young kids and more like race talk. I mean, we glanced over a little bit with the previous issue. I feel like they really dig their heels into the conversation on this one, but I guess the synopsis writer was taking a pass on this one, taking a powder.
Yeah, some of these websites are like hit or miss with these issues. I'm gonna have to see if there's like a Green Lantern centric website, because I know like when me and Bill through Daredevil, we found like a manwithoutfear.net or something, and like that guy has like a lot of like good synopsis on there.
Yeah, and he has a Braille version too.
I did not see that one coming.
Wow. I have to up my game.
All right, so what did we think of this one? The trend, basically, I mean, they're attacking like these gang members, but I guess they think they're gonna make friends by trying to imitate all these different like Earth cultures and stuff.
Well, this one was a little bit more goofy with a little bit more cringe to it, but and the fact that they're called the Trendoids and they imitate and take pleasure in their experience in imitating all these different aliens and cultures and people of all walks of life throughout the galaxy, and it's immortalized in having like they have photo books of or their like resume to show off to Jon Stewart. But it's just more of like this was an episodic TV show, sort of like the Monsters of the Week. But, Jon Stewart, he's got to keep the peace, and he's dealing with a different problem all the time. And so this one, they try to focus more on the urban denizens of the Mosaic that are trapped in there to try to keep peace amongst them and amongst the aliens. But it gets into him more personally, him talking about how him feeling like, although it was weird because like they reference something, sort of being an Uncle Tom, but they don't say Uncle Tom. They say Uncle Clarence for some reason. But
Is that
I
Clarence?
was thinking that Clarence Thomas. I think that might have been a reference to Clarence Thomas.
Okay, all right. So there you go. But I guess it works both ways. But yeah,
Because weren't the Clarence Thomas hearings around this time?
I think so. I'd have to look it up to be sure, but I mean, it seems to kind of fit in my recollection.
Supreme controversial Supreme Court judge appointee. Yeah, I think that definitely was around this time in the mid-90s. If my knowledge of watching Saturday Night Live around that time is any indicator, I think that's pretty spot on. Yeah, as played by Tim Meadows. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Conan just stayed up for opera, man.
I did. And Nancy Kerrigan hosted. Well, it was '94, but yeah, around that time. Yeah. Local.
I was just looking. If you count the inside of the front and back cover and the back cover, 1992, we had 6 ads in this for video games.
Oh yeah.
Man, you never see ads for video games anymore. And you know what's selling, kids. You know what the big event is, because this page, Superman video game for your Sega Genesis.
Yeah. Say Kryptonite not included.
Yeah. And then right on the back of that page, turn the page, get your Death of Superman trading cards.
Yeah.
So what was the big event of '92? I don't know.
I wonder what it was. Maybe something to do with Superman? I don't know, man.
But yeah, this one is really goofy. Because, so I guess these trendoids that's the trendoids just try to assimilate. Well, they're not bored.
Into whatever clique or group that they find, it looks like. Yeah. It was...
And they kind of look like Coneheads, and the Conehead movie was out around this time too.
Great.
That may have been.
They're gray, man. Yeah.
We come from Oa. But yeah, it's like kids in high school, try to dress like the cool kids.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm just like you guys.
What's up, fellow
young people?
Yeah.
I see you, Semi. But at least John didn't try to give them Green Lantern rings like them kids.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although they did dress like they did start to dress like them.
Dressing like hell, yeah.
Yeah. So of the 3, it kind of I don't know. I think it's
one of the 3.
Issue 6 in terms of what there were elements of each that I liked, but overall, I probably like that one the best of the 3. Felt more Green Lantern, most Green Lantern-ish to me.
Yeah.
Well, and we are nearly halfway through the series. I mean, that was issue 8. This thing ends at 18. So,
like I said, there's only going to be like 2 or 3 more episodes. I have at least 2 episodes. The last 2 of Mosaic. Yeah, I got a bunch packed in those. But
Matt, long ago, far away.
Okay.
Probably 8 months ago, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
We said that Mosaic is weird. Has it lived up to the hype?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. I didn't know. I thought it would be visually weird and kind of pocket dimensional or something, but yeah, the weirdness has expanded beyond my expectations. So, but nice. I'm enjoying it, and it's nice to go the way that all the props to Phil for the way that he structures the episodes. You got a couple Guy Gardners here, a little Mosaic there, the occasional trade thrown in. It's making it interesting to me, because for those of you who don't know, I'm the least familiar with the material, and not all of it. A handful of issues I have read in the past, so I'm experiencing this for the first time. Even though you guys may know how things pan out, sometimes you might let a little something slip. I try to block my eardrums for it, but yeah, I'm enjoying that. I like a good dose of weirdness, and there's plenty of 90s goodness in there too. So
I really like that we get to kind of experience it, firsthand again through you, which is really cool. Because, it's been I probably haven't read some of these issues since they came out, which is a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, depending on the time you're listening to this, people could be listening to this podcast in 2027. So
yeah.
Yes, I'm glad we can be here for your first time, Kona.
Thank you.
All right, so should I give the kids their homework? Well, and us our homework? And
yes,
you bet.
All right, so yes, next time. All right, Will, you've been waiting for it. The third law from Green Lantern 32 through 35.
Awesome. We get to find out that the Guardians maybe aren't as cuddly little blue guys as we think they are.
They're keeping a secret, and why are they keeping that secret?
I don't know. Might have something to do with the law.
The third law. And then in 2 weeks, you're gonna get Christmas in the summer, kids, because you're gonna get Green Lantern 36, which is the Christmas issue, and Green Lantern Mosaic 9 through 12, and 9 is also a Christmas issue. So,
and which Christmas issue are you saying is so goofy? Because I don't remember.
Green Lantern 36, Dr. Light. That's all I'll say.
Okay, I don't remember that issue. I'm looking forward to it now.
He'll go to visit Hal's, his brothers, his sister-in-laws. Just wait. I'm surprised you blocked this out of your mind, Will. I thought you'd be like, I remember that. All right, kids. So, send your thoughts on all of those. Third law next week, and then Christmas in 2 weeks. Although we can enjoy every week. So, please send us your thoughts. Email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Oh, do they have a way to put like a countdown clock on like a Facebook page or something? Because I just want to count down the Emerald Twilight for a little.
Actually, you can grab an image. There's a. I'll after the show. I think I may have a link for you. So
cool. All right, kids, and please, if I could get this, you could find it on Facebook. So follow Sector 2814 on Facebook, Twitter. Find links to all of our various social medias for all the various shows. Links to this YouTube channel. See Babyface Kona in clear HD quality. Go check out the Patreon channel. More things happening there. Links to merchandise. Links to everything all in one place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And please remember to support everything Southgate Media Group. Go check out southgatemediagroup.com. Go check out the Southgate Media Group Patreon. There's a bunch of free stuff there, like basically all the shows that are on the network now, and the paid stuff too. So go support Southgate Media Group that way, or go buy Pod Life the book, now digital and paperback. And you can get that on Amazon. When you do, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there in the show notes. Help us support this show, the network, and that funky man with no rhythm, Raw Master Doom Southgate.
Make it rain, so says Master Doom. Please kick me in the pants. Mark my words.
All right, Matt Kona, where can people find you getting down?
I can be fine hanging out with the baby. I have been reading comic books to her. Sometimes she reacts, sometimes she doesn't. Nice. I mean, it depends on if she's just eating or not, how calm she is. But on social media, at Matt Kona, MATTKNOA, pretty much everywhere you can find. I might be there. I might not be active, but you can message me if you want to. I'm around.
See you later, bunkies.
All right, Will Allred, Master of the Core, Master of the Quantum Zone, Master of Crossover Division, where people find you and your books and your websites and
Well, you can find me at Walred. That's at WALLRED. It's Gmail and Twitter and Facebook and all those places. Like Matt, I may not be active there, but you can message me. Right now, my ongoing book is Crossover Division, which you can find at crossoverdivision.com. Number 2 will be launching in July, which is only a few short weeks away, which will be cool. You can also find Diary of Night at diaryofnight.com. And you obviously have great taste, so you probably love the character Quasar. So if you want to find out all kinds of cool stuff about Quasar, go to the Quantum Zone at quantumzone.org.
I'll put it in my navel.
Yeah, boys, you look at the party. I love the party.
In here just for you, Will.
He gives me his bone.
I love that. You know, it almost makes the whole Guy Gardner 4-issue series worth it just for that line. He gave me his bone.
All right, kids. Thank you for joining us again. Come back next time for the third law. Take those court shows there. There's nothing compared to this. Cosmic Drum. And then Christmas in 2 weeks. But yeah, I keep threatening. I gotta do it. I gotta put Crossover Division and Diary of Night on the screen. Okay? I'm gonna add it to the rotation.
I've got some images for you, man.
I think I can get them. I just gotta do it. All right, kids. Come back next time. And remember, beware of dancing trendoids.